The rights to Knotwood in North America. They've built a new factory in Phoenix, and we're extremely happy. We've been involved in it for about 8 or 9 years now, but we've got all that experience coming in, so and a lot of new products coming. They're quite fashion forward in the colors that they're selecting, so it's just increasing and increasing and increasing. So like I said, all the extrusions now are either coming, or most of them are coming from Phoenix, some of them are coming from Australia, and some of the more special order items, all right? Everything that Knotwood makes is 100% aluminum. It's a 6063 T6 aluminum, and standard lengths for all of our products is 18'6" long. What they do is they take the aluminum, they take the 6063, they clean it, multiple times, and then they put a powder coated finish on it. After they put a powder coated finish on it, they're going to run it through a process called sublimation. And the sublimation is the process of adding the wood grain to the face of the product. All right. One really nice thing about the wood grain, this is not a surface application. Well, when we're talking about sublimation, what we're basically doing is we're taking the powder coated paint, we're changing it into a gas, putting the dye of the wood grain right down into the product, and then bringing it back to a solid. So we like to refer to it almost like a tattoo. That wood grain goes 90% of the way down through the paint, and for that reason, you're not going to see it wear off or fade a lot. With the Knotwood, we expect a 4 to 6% fade over a 15-year period, and 15 years is the standard warranty on the product. All right. The 15 years covers the finish. The base is 100% aluminum. So in 100 years, it's going to be 100% aluminum. For that reason, we give a lifetime warranty on the substrate. Okay? So within the Knotwood line, there's several different systems, right? Okay? Don't want to overcomplicate it, but I think sometimes we did. We have Soffit, we have cladding, we have decking. They're all the exact, pretty much the same product. Then we have a line that is our battens, probably one of our top selling items now. The battens we would use for pergolas, we would use for vertical members on the front of a building. There's no end of uses for it. Here we're using it as a shelf. So that's the battens. And then we're going to get into our fencing and screening. So I'm going to jump right into our cladding material. Anything I tell you about the cladding also refers to any type of, or also refers to our soffit. So Knotwood is one of the few products on the line, on the market right now that offers you this option. So this is our standard 6-inch cladding board. What's really nice about it is the way that two pieces go together. One piece actually interlocks with the other. You can see here right now I have no gap, but if you desire, we can have a 1/4 inch reveal or a 1/4 inch gap. All right, and that's the cladding material. This can be installed horizontally. No, that's vertical, right? Yeah, horizontally, vertically, diagonally, or as a soffit on the ceiling. Okay, so once we've got the two pieces together, one thing we always have to allow for with aluminum is the thermal expansion. Can somebody grab me a cladding clip? All right. So we know that the product is going to expand and contract as the sun hits it, and then it gets cold at night and what have you. So instead of screwing straight through the actual profile, we use a cladding clip. Thank you. That just fits on the edge here, like this. Number 10 fastener goes into a Z-girt, into strapping, straight onto plywood, onto concrete. It can basically be fixed onto any substrate. All right. This is only required every 32 inches, therefore lessening the installation costs because you're not needing as much to do, or you don't need to put as many of these in there. All right, and that's going to slide on there and allows the product to expand and contract. The other thing that's quite unique about the Knotwood system is we have the ability to do what we call a top-down install. Normally with a lot of cladding jobs, you're going to start at the bottom and work your way up. All right. With Knotwood, we can start at the top and work down, and it saves time in the installation. So we start with a starter strip. The product fits right into the starter, and it hangs there on its own. You're going to come along with your cladding clip, fasten that to the wall, and then you're going to come along with your next piece of cladding, and it conceals the cladding clip. All right. This can be done this way, or we can start at the bottom and work our way up. The advantage to doing it this way is it saves again in the installation costs, because that piece will just hang there on its own. Also, we do a lot of like Tim Hortons and buildings like that, restaurants and things. We find if there's going to be any damage, the likelihood is that you're going to have damage at the bottom. All right? So installing from the top down, you only need to remove the bottom damaged pieces. If we did it this way, we would have to start at the top and work our whole way down to get to the damaged parts at the bottom. 90% of the time, if there's going to be any damage, we're going to find the damage at the bottom. All right? So that's the 6-inch cladding. We offer the exact same product in a 4-inch cladding board and an 8-inch cladding board. All right? James, can you pull up our Soffit page? I want to show you a mixture, what an architect did with the Knotwood Soffit material. This right here, they've gone and mixed the 4-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch. All right, and then they've also gone and mixed it with multiple colors. All right, I'm going to jump over to a little bit on our colors for a moment, and then I'll come back to the cladding and finish that off. All right. As far as the colors go, all prices, all of the Knotwood is the same price across the board. Whether you pick one of our, what we call a special order color, or you pick one of our stock colors. And there is no end of colors available. And we have the largest offering in the industry of wood grains. And we have standard solids, and if you have a particular solid you want, we can match that color for you. All right. On our website, you'll see that on the top menu it says Knotwood Colors, and right now we're just flicking through some of the colors that are available. If you click on one of the colors, it'll give you an enlargement of that color. All right. And then just close it, and then also, we have a whole line of new colors that we just brought out, which are what we're calling the colors of Australia. It gives us a lot of nice new lighter tones. All right, pretty little koala bear. Oh, it's a little slow loading today. And these are the various new colors that we're bringing in. We have a very good sample department. If you contact us and tell us you need samples, they're usually out to you within 24 hours and we express them to you. All right. So every single product that I'm showing you today is available in every single color we have. It's not like this product is available in this color or this color. Okay. So back to the siding and or soffit. Okay. So once we've got the siding, we're going to need something to finish off the edges. Because of the way that the Knotwood goes together with the interlocking assembly, like that, and the fact that it's got to go in and then drop down, your traditional J channel would not work. So all of our trims for the Knotwood come as a 2-part assembly. And they come with a male and a female, or a base and a finishing cap. So around the edge of a window, door, wherever we're meeting up with a dissimilar material along the bottom, we're going to put a finishing trim on. So we start with the base. The base gets attached to the structure and is screwed every 24 inches. This will cover the edge of the siding. So you're going to apply all that. And once that's all applied, you're going to come along with the finishing trim, and this just fits right down in. And it gives you a very nice tight fit in here. You're not going to see a gap. All right, so that's how we do around a window, around a door, or butting up to any dissimilar material. For the same reason, the way that the two pieces go together, our corners will not work. You can't bend, you're not going to bend this material into the corner. So our corners come as a two-part assembly also. We have the male, which on an outside corner will go on first, and then we have a female that fits right down over top of it. All right, and when those go together, don't know if I can do this. All right, ouch. And that would fit on like that. Okay, so every one of our pieces, as I mentioned earlier, is 18'6" long. Unfortunately, walls are sometimes longer than that. So what we can do is something we call a butt joint. We take two pieces of this material and we join them together as a butt right here together. We're going to put a screw right through the lip of the material, and then we're forcing the expansion out to the outside. Once we get more than, say, 30 feet, we're going to use a T-molding, all right? So we use the T-molding in the middle of the assembly, and then we can go and do another two pieces. So in total here, we'd be up to about 70 foot wide, or 20 some meters. All right, so 18'6" is the size of each piece. We can add two pieces together. We do a joint, a butt joint, and then we would need another one of these dividing T-molding, or we call it a joiner. All right. Sometimes we'll find on some projects the architect will decide that they like the look of this detail, and they'll put them every 18'6". Sometimes we're asked to follow the mullions on a project. So they want to take the larger windows, they want the cladding above the windows to fit exactly, so then we will go and put the joiner directly above there. We've had some where they break it all up into squares. On some soffit jobs, we will go, say we're doing a strip mall. One thing about it is you may need access up in there. Instead of having to strip it all down, we'll put a couple of these in there for access points. That's the quick rundown on the cladding and also the soffit. Just want to mention we also do a vented soffit if you need to vent that space above the soffit. Now I'm going to move on to what we refer to as battens. All right. I'm just going to start with our web page. If you go to alumarch.com, and on the very top of the menu, you're going to see Knotwood Systems, and we're going to go down to battens. Each one of these systems is set up the same way. We want to go over the website a little bit because a lot of the information you're going to need is on the website. So if we go to Knotwood Systems, then we go to battens. First of all, you're going to see a large picture. Then you're going to see a little bit of a write-up on it. A few examples of the different things that you can do with the product. Let's stop at those pictures there for a sec, James, please. And if you just click on one, all right, you can see that you can go through this little gallery, all right, and it gives you just various different things.
We got a lot happening.
We got a lot happening? Okay, all right. So there's a lot of different uses for the battens. Okay, just want to show you how that actually operates, or how the that little gallery operates. Okay, B, let's close that, and let's go down to the actual profiles. So we always start with our standard stock product, and one thing to note is beneath each one of these products, you're going to see a product data sheet. Let's open the 2x6 batten, please, James. Okay, our standard battens, we're going to go back to that in a moment. Our standard battens come in 2x2, 2x4, 2x6, 2x8. Sorry guys, I forgot, I'm talking to Canadians. 50-50, 50-100, 50-150, and 50-200 millimeter, okay? All of them are 5.65 meters long, right? Very easy system to work with. We start with a base, all right? The base has got a very heavy back on it here, all right? And that's what we use to attach to the structure. So we're going to put two number 12 or 14 fasteners here, two number 12 or 14 fasteners here onto our structure. Then we're going to take the batten, and that batten just snaps on. It's not just snaps on. all right? And very difficult to get apart, all right? So that is the standard way of installing it if we're going on a wall. We can go on the ceiling, we can do it on a pergola, we can do it on an angle, we can do whatever your heart desires, all right? Sometimes we're going to go and build a wall or a screen with it. And sometimes we want to attach it to the ceiling and to the floor. We see this between a lot of balconies in multi-unit residential. Sometimes we'll go and attach to the face of the balconies. Sometimes we're going to add a bracket to be able to, if we're going, say, from the top and the bottom to allow for deflection and expansion. If we're going to do it on an end mount, we're going to go and take our batten, we're going to add a batten end mount clip, which fits over here. We screw that to the floor, we screw that to the ceiling, and then we go and snap on our batten base, which will then conceal that fastening. So you've got a 100% concealed fastening system. Let's just go back to the website for a second. I see that we're able to pull up the PDF. Yeah, so beneath each one of the profiles that we're showing on the website, you're going to see a product data sheet, which gives you a lot of useful information. It gives you the weight, the various finishes. It's going to give you a little rundown on how we use that actual item. On the far right, you're going to see that the 50 by 150 millimeter batten will span the full 18'4", so that's about 5.4 meters, all right? Meaning we only need 2 mounting points in the full 5.5 meters or thereabouts. In a horizontal application, it works also the same. For instance, if we're doing a pergola or something, we only require 2 mounting points pretty much for the entire length of the item. We go down to the 2x4 or the 2x2, that's diminished a little bit, all right? So we have the 2-inch suite, which gives us 2x2, 2x4, 2x6, and 2x8, all right? Then we have a complete 1-inch suite. 1x2, 1x3, 1x4, or 50 millimeter, 75 millimeter, 100 millimeter, and 150 millimeter. Works exactly the same way. It's a 2-part assembly again. We have our batten base, all right? Batten slides over the top. You fasten it down there. You've concealed the fastening system, and it just snaps together and done, okay? So that's our 25 millimeter suite. We have a new suite. Okay, so all of these battens are fitting on either the 25 millimeter side or on the 50 millimeter side. All right, but let's say we want it more to lay flat. We then move over to this suite. This suite works very similar. We have a base like this, and then we have the batten. That we would attach to the structure, and then we're going to that goes in there and snaps together, again concealing your fastener. Oh, I want that. Thank you. Yeah, that's better. And this is what we generally use. I'm the salesman, not the installer. There we go. Good ground. Dead blow hammer, it makes a big difference, all right? And that's how we finish it, all right? So we have that in a 100 millimeter, we have it in 150 millimeter, 50 millimeter, 75 millimeter, right? So it gives you a lot of different looks. And then, I'm gonna go back to this one later, all right? The other thing, this has become very, very popular. It gives a really nice look on the front of a building. This is just a 1x1 or a 25 mil by 25 mil. We have 42 mil and I think 30 some mil, right? You can tell I usually sell in the States. 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and 1 inch, all right? This is much more, It's price-wise, very, very effective. All right. To go and put these 1-inch members 1 inch apart, ½ inch apart, something like that, one after another. Do a lot of garage doors. Let's pull up the garage door we have on the website there. Scroll.
Ready?
Yeah, this is a garage door with the 1-inch batten applied to the front of it. Gives a really nice look. Okay. All of these can be mounted on the ceiling. The other thing that's really nice about Knotwood, and we've been seeing this really, really grow, is we can be used internally or externally. So if you're doing a lobby in a large building, there's no reason why you can't use the Knotwood. It's non-combustible. Every piece you get is perfectly straight. So we're starting to see a lot more use of this as accents in a building, feature walls within the building, and that non-combustible aspect of it is making it even more and more popular. All right, so that's a basic rundown on the battens. All right, and that's more using the batten on a facade, using it on a ceiling, using it to create a screen, using it as a guardrail system on balconies. All of these things are possible with the Knotwood battens. Okay. The other thing we do a lot of are pergolas or trellises or sunscreens, all different sorts of light control. So when it comes to a pergola, I'm going to show you basically how it goes together, but each one of them we pretty much do design, you know, we look at the design and do it specific to whatever you're looking for. So you're not limited by what I'm going to show you. Excuse me. So we also offer all of the bells and whistles to go with it. Let's say we're going to do a rooftop pergola. We're going to glue that down to the ceiling or to the floor. We get involved with the engineering and what have you. We can help you with that. How is this going to be fastened? Each one we look at individually. If we're on the 30th floor of a building in Vancouver, it's going to require more than a backyard pergola in Winnipeg, for instance. All right, we're going to come along. It's a big post. Can you get me a 2x10 beam or 2x8 beam? The post will slide on top. All right, and that's our post. We would have we do that in a 4-inch and a 6-inch, or a 50 mil and 100 mil. I'm just looking for my beam. Oh yeah, back to the batten. Here's a unique one. We do this elliptical one in a 150 millimeter and in a 200 millimeter. All right, what we're going to then do is we're going to attach, thank you, a beam to the side of it. All right, or we have methods of attaching a beam to the top of it. So to make this all happen, we have all different types of hardware. Here's a mounting bracket that goes in the top, all right, and then our beam is going to fit on there. Once we've got the beam attached to the post, we're then going to go and apply battens to it, all right. So our battens can go on top of the beam, they can go into the side of the beam, or they can go underneath the beam. They can also be applied on an angle to create even more shade for it. And you're not limited in any way at all. And with each pergola project, when you're first doing your design work on it, feel free to give us a call and give us an idea of what your concept is and what you would like to see. And we're happy to send you back details on exactly how you can achieve that. Various CAD drawings. We have CAD on all the profiles and on most of the brackets. And we can give you guidance on, yes, we can do this, no, we can't do that. Almost every single one of these or any rooftop assembly that Alumarch gets involved with, we always recommend project-specific engineering on it. So with our experience, we can pretty much tell you what we know is likely to pass in an engineering review and point you in the right direction. We know the capabilities of the product. So that is a basic or a quick rundown on our batten suite. like I said, you're only limited by your own imagination as to what you do with the battens. You see here, like I said, we're using them actually as shelves. We see some people using them for screens. We see some people dropping these right into the ground and having it a screen that's coming up out of concrete. Okay, so that's a basic quick rundown on our battens. Are there any questions on the battens?
I have another quick question.
Yes.
It sounds like it's, for the most part, would it be safe to say it's ornamental in nature and that you couldn't like have someone stand on it? I mean, even your pergola, it's more for, maybe for supporting snow or for shades, but it looks like it will support itself, but you wouldn't want to put any loading on it.
It will take a load, but we're not building it as a structural member. No, you're correct, right? We wouldn't want somebody.
But when you look at your sections, though, it almost looks like a curtain wall. It's pretty scoopy.
No, it's depending on what load you're wanting to put on there. We're not parking cars on top of it, but if somebody needs to access something above it for maintenance purposes or what have you, they would be able to walk on it. Some of the members are quite a bit heavier. This has a 3.5 millimeter wall. This is more of a structural member. Likewise with our posts. All right. Let's get the tape on the end. With the posts, it's got a thicker member. When we get into something that we really need a strong structure, all right. For instance, sometimes we'll see people don't want a pergola. They want more of a sunshade. They want or a complete cover. What we're going to do in that case is we've got some pretty unique products. So instead of using a 6x6 post, we have, we call it a 6-inch self-mating column wrap. So this comes as 2 pieces. All right. So what we would do in this case is, and we do it on a fair amount of projects where rather than, it's easier to get the strength out of steel. So we're going to take a steel HSS and we're going to have that coming up through the middle. And then we're just going to go and clad the outside of it with our 6x6 member. We also have this in an 8x8. We have this in a 4x10. So if we get into a situation where we do need a structural assembly of some sort, then we're more than likely going to go over to enhancing it with some sort of steel inside of it to give it that extra strength. Let's say we want longer capacity or longer length than what we can achieve with aluminum without going super heavy, then we're going to use one of these more cladding materials. Something that is going to more... Yep.
Would it be safe to say, though, that, because you kind of mentioned it, you could also use it as railing, then it's behind you in that picture there. So if these were like balcony guards, they could withstand a horizontal load, I'm assuming?
100%. Yeah, we can do... Yeah, actually, I'm going to just grab something over here. You're jumping ahead. All right. Yeah. So
there you go.
I was getting onto the railing system. Yeah, so this is a complete railing system. You able to move the camera over here, B? Yeah. All right. So yeah, we do a complete guardrail system, vertical, horizontal. We meet the requirements here. We have the stamped engineered shop drawings for this application. All right. That was my next line, was the screens and the fence, but you've moved me right into it. Let me just clear a little bit of space here, and we'll go on to that system. Okay. So, were there any other questions about the battens? Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to screens, fencing, and handrail systems. All right. The basis for all of our screens or all of our fencing and handrail systems, and we've started doing an awful lot of this for enclosing amenity areas on the top of the building, and we're very price competitive when we're looking at that. I just finished a job in Sleepy Hollow in New York. We came in at about, it was a lot of material. It was 350 linear feet We're talking 10, 11 feet high, a lot of equipment to close in. Our material cost on it were about $350,000. Everything else they were looking at other than that would meet requirements, that would have the engineering, was up in the $1 million range. So we were able to be very, very competitive on these things. So the basis of it is our 6-inch slat, 150 mil slat, 100 mil slat, 65 mil slat, and 38 millimeter slat. All right. So the slats actually fit into various different types of posts. Okay. Our standard main post is our 2 9/16 two-way post. And it's as simple as this part slides in here. We're then going to put 2 fasteners in here, and then we have a cover, and it's small infill that snaps right inside there and completely conceals the fastening that you've done. All right, so we're going to start with a two-way post. If required, we have a corner post, so it enables us to do this. All right, stack it all up. All right, once we get so high, all right, we're then going to take our handrail clip. It's just a little clip. This item, it fits right over top, and then the handrail goes on top. There you've built a handrail system, all right? There's no end of options available here. If you don't want a solid fence, we can go and space these at whatever you like. They can be spaced. We have standard spacing of 8 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and 24 millimeter. If you want them 24, if you want them larger, we have spacers for whatever size that you want, okay? So this is just in generally speaking, this is going to work for anything up to about 1.8 meters. Once we get above that, we're going to come back to our 4x4 post. All right. In order for us to be able to use a slat with a 4x4 post, we're then going to add a channel to the side of it. And the channel, we have 2 different channels. One is what we call a U channel, 30 millimeter by 30 millimeter. This attaches to the side of the post. Okay, number 10 screw in there, number 10 screw in there. We're then going to take our slat, slide our slat into the side of it, attach a screw through here, and again we're going to come along with the cover and snap that off, which gives it a nice clean finish, so you're not going to see any of the fasteners. And that conceals everything in. There's no end of options that we can do with this. If you decide you would rather see a vertical application, what we're going to do is we're going to put a rail at the top and the bottom. So we're going to take our one-way post or rail. We're going to attach this down at the bottom. We're then going to go and apply our pickets like this. And then we can cap it off any way you want. We can cap it off if we want to put a handrail on the top, or if we want something a little bit more substantial, we can go and put something like that. We can go right up to a batten. We've done a lot of bar areas and stuff where they decided they want somewhere to be able to rest drinks. So we'll go and attach a 2x8 batten on the top of this, and we can join 2 battens together, get 16 inches. There's absolutely no end of options as to what you can do with this. We also have, for our 2.5-inch slats, let's say you've got venting or screening you're needing on your project. We also offer an angled slat mount. All right, we can apply this in various applications. Basically, what we need to be able to do is to provide a channel at each end for everything to work. If you've already got structure there, let's say we're doing a parking garage and there's concrete pillars everywhere, but you want to allow for some screening, we will just come along with our one-way post. We'll mount one on this side, one on the other side, and then we're just going to sandwich our slats in between. That's simple, all right? Very simple to work with. Okay. One thing I always like to say about this, when when you're working with the Knotwood, we're showing you our standard systems, but by no means are you limited to our standard systems. We want you to, at the end of this, when I show you how it all goes together, I want you to forget it all and just look at this as building blocks. If you guys come to us with the concept and the design that you're looking to achieve, we know our parts and pieces quite well, and we also have a whole load of custom pieces also. On various projects. We had a project with Google recently. They wanted a particular shape of batten. So we cut a die and we made all the battens for them. All right. So we have a whole load of other products that we don't show on the website, but we do have available. All right. So you almost need to come back to us and talk to us and say, give us a call, give Jacqueline a call, give me a call and say, Carl, Jack, this is what we're looking to achieve. Do you have a way that we can do this? And 95% of the time, we can show you a solution to achieve the look that you're after. Just going to show you one more product because it's rather neat. We call it our self-mating. All right. What this is, we use this in so many different applications. This is two identical pieces. These are identical. All right. We turn one 180 degrees, and these just snap together. All right. Like that. The nice thing about this is we can go and clad. We do a lot of garage doors with this one, where we're going to go and put this on a garage door horizontally. It screws in here. Then we come along with the matching piece. We snap them together, and you're completely concealing your screws. It's a nice, easy way to make an accent. Right now, I have a facade on a building. I think it's a Joey restaurant down in, I just got the drawings in today. They've got a screen at the top that is containing or concealing their HVAC and what have you. And they decided to use this. They're about 2.5 meters high, and it's on a curved facade. All right, so there's just one after another of this. That's where they put their logo. It's achieving the concealing of the air conditioning units. Very, very popular item. All right, so that's those come in 38 mil, 65 mil, 100 mil, and 150 mil. And this one is a 200 mil. These are two identical pieces again. All right, this one's got a little bit more of a square edge on it. These just snap together. The lovely thing, this is one that I custom built for a hospital I recently did. And they had a 10-inch I-beam. And inside the I-beam, they wanted to see a wood detail. So we designed this piece for them. This one piece screwed onto the I-beam. The other one came along, snapped right on. 100% maintenance-free, non-combustible, completely concealed fastening system. That's Knotwood. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Any other questions?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No
Thank you so much, Carl.
No problem. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.